Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Art Throwdown. I am State of the Funyon, and my co-pilot Russ will be here in just a second. And hello, I see Jim. I see Giddy. Hello from you're in Germany, I believe. Hello, Nan and Moonlight, and who else? Let's see. I see Phil and Ashley. Wow. Hey guys, and Frank. Wow, lots of people popping in here.
Hello.
Hello. And I also see
You-
Stampix rubber stamps. Hello. We got people from all over the place here tonight,
We
Russ.
do, we do. Nan's here. Welcome.
Hello. All right. Well, unselfishly this time, because as we all know, I'm a self-absorbed postcard collage person with tiny pieces of paper that I'm always staring at.
That was self-anointed, by the way.
Yeah,
That wasn't anybody else but
and
yourself.
self-appointed to that. Yes, I will self-appoint myself to that position. I will be reading a lot of the comments tonight as Russ goes through the coveted part 3 of his 3-part gift wrapping tutorial. And Notes for People joined. Hello, Notes for People.
Wow.
Lots of
They're
people.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a mix of we've got a mix of folks who are semi-regular here. We've got some new folks as well who it might be your first time. So welcome.
Notes for People is a great profile. If you're not following them, you
I'm not.
should.
Okay.
They write notes to people
Very
that may,
self-explanatory.
yeah, that may need them. So yeah,
Cool.
so check them out if you don't already for
Okay.
anybody. So yeah, um, so first I want to give a quick shout out to Ashley. Ashley, a couple of shout outs. One to Ashley, that watercolor postcard that you posted was stunning. So
Yes, it
tell
was.
her to continue to do more and maybe scan them and print them out because that was absolutely gorgeous. And to you, your little interactive postcard, how unique was that?
I
Do you
was
have it with you?
totally shocked. I actually, okay, you guys are going to be mad. I already took the postcard
Okay.
upstairs and I took the contents out, but I can show you what the contents were because I have them in my giant bag of tiny paper scraps. So they are very delicate, and these came from June, also known as Love in Stamps on here. And I know June is taking a bit of a hiatus right now from social media, but just in case she is watching, June, thank you so much for these. They are tiny US cutouts. Look at this. And they're very delicate. I think they are awesome. And she had them all in this tiny little envelope that was affixed, looked like glassine or like a very thin, I think it was glassine.
I think it was glassine. Yeah.
It was too thin to be vellum, so I think it was glassine, and she had it sealed with washi tape, and she had it affixed onto the postcard. So the postcard got here all in one piece, and there was no damage or breakage. So, but I just thought that was such a clever way, because Russ, we always talk about different clever ways to make postcards more interactive, and I thought, this postcard is actually a carrier pigeon for these tiny punch outs that she made for me, and how cool is that?
Yeah, and they don't always survive, so that's the beauty of that. Shout out to June for that because I thought that was
Yes.
spectacular. And did anyone get the directions to the explosion card that she did?
Not as of
Was
yet.
she the one that did okay?
Yeah, and I
So if
think,
anyone does get those,
yeah.
just share it. We only need one person to receive the instructions, so she doesn't have to send it to all of us. She can just send it to
True.
one, and then you can, if you receive it, be kind enough to share that with the rest of us that want it.
And just by the way,
Um,
I think she is sending that through snail mail, so it might be a bit before
oh,
it
okay.
gets here. So I think it was an actual paper pattern for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out. Whoever gets it,
We will
if we need to
reverse
scan it
engineer
or
that bad boy as
yeah,
soon as we receive
exactly,
it. Absolutely.
exactly. So, any other things before we jump into it?
No, so are you at your gluing station, Russ? Where are you in
I
Casa
am
de
not.
Russ?
I need at my original station because I need a higher up camera angle to be able to demonstrate this to everyone.
Okay. All right. Well, then,
So Nick is here.
yeah.
Rockabilly Nick is here.
Hello.
Welcome. Okay. Well, so yesterday I left us. So I have a variety of different boxes that are partially wrapped to speed this along. So that's why you're not going to see the exact same thing that you saw yesterday. So that's what I want to mention first. Okay. So what I'm going. So I showed you how to wrap the box itself. Um, and so what I want to show you is how to wrap. So what I showed you was this part, if you remember. And so what I want to do is show you how to close the ends of the box, which tends to be the most difficult thing to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this way. Now keep in mind the double layer of paper is the bottom of your box. So you want to start this process with the bottom. Okay? Because what you want to do is you want your nice side to be the top that's going to fold down. So that's not key, but that's helpful. And because this is double ply paper, this is two layers of paper because of the way that we wrapped it. It's best to hide all your mechanics underneath the single layer. That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're concealing
Now,
all the hard work that goes into this and the folds
exactly,
and things.
exactly. So now there are two ways in which to close the ends, and dependent upon who you talk to or where you work, will dictate how you do this particular process. I was always taught that if you have a rectangle style box, that you fold the bottom up, then the sides, and then the top down. Okay. If you have a cube style box, you fold the sides in first, then the bottom, and then the top.
Hmm.
It's so it's whatever type of box you have, and I'll show you why in a second. But this process is the same. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do the rectangle style. So we're going to bring this top flap up. Now, keep in mind we're normally working against the table, so that you can get a sharp crease and you can get this 90-degree angle that you need right here. Okay, so you're going to bring this up and then you're going to crease it at the edge of your box, right? So you get that. So you get that nice crisp edge. And then you're going to do the other side and you're going to do the same thing.
So you're basically using the side of the box as a straight edge to make that straight
Correct.
crease.
Correct.
Okay.
And the bottom and your desk that you're working on, the surface that you're working on, because that's what's going to get this straight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'll show you this with another box in a second once I demonstrate this particular technique. Once you do the bottom like this, then what you do is you would flip it to the other side and do the exact same thing. And the reason why you do that is because you want to lock your box in place. So once these two are done on opposite ends, your box isn't going anywhere. So if you haven't used any tape to secure the paper to the actual box on the bottom, that will secure the box in place so it's not going to move on you when you're doing your final folding. Okay? So then I'm going to turn this side, and then what you're going to do is you're going to fold this towards the center. And once again, you're going to be using the box as your straight edge, like you mentioned, and then you're going to fold up. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay.
And I like this technique, Russ, because it avoids and prevents you from having that situation where like the end of I don't know how to describe it, but it's like almost like the edge of the box, the end of the paper looks kind of gappy or like fluffy.
Right.
It's not flat.
Right. And that's the thing. And that's why you want these sharp creases at the edges.
Yes.
Right. So that will happen. And the other thing is let tape be your friend here. So if depending upon the paper that you have, and that's why using double-sided tape is so helpful, because if these start puffing up, like you said, you can always secure it with a piece of double-sided tape. So
I didn't never
use
thought
tape.
about that.
Yeah, so
Double-sided
use tape.
tape.
Yeah, use tape as your friend. Now, if you're working at J.C. Penney, you are only allowed to use 3 pieces of tape.
What?
Yeah, one to secure this edge here, right, or this edge here, and one to secure one here, and one to secure one on the other end, and that's it. That's all you're allowed. So,
Wow, it's incredibly stringent. I guess
well, yeah,
each place has their own proprietary
They do.
technique, but
Yeah, that's
interesting.
true. That's true. And Jennifer has just joined. Welcome, Jennifer.
And Janet
So,
and Manda's mail as well. So hello, ladies.
oh, cool. Yes. So now here's where, once again, you get into aesthetics. So some, well, many professional rappers don't want a raw edge. Okay. And many, so if you're working at a store or something, they don't like seeing this raw edge. Now you can do one of two things depending upon what you do. Now you see these 2 points right here where the paper, the top flap uh, covers the bottom flap.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is you can use that as your gauge, and then you're going to fold this up like so. Then you're going to tuck it under. So that would be the edge that you get. And then you would tape this with double-sided tape. What I would do, I would put a piece of double-sided tape here, a piece of double-sided tape there, and then that's going to lay it flat.
And Frank goes,
Okay?
and still, JCPenney counted their pennies while they ran that business into the
It's into the
ground.
ground.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. That's like operational cost cutting. Like thou shalt only use 3 pieces of tape. Wow.
Okay, so that's this particular edge.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to show you is the alternate method, and that is you're going to bring the sides in. You already have these creases, so this is going to go quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to bring the sides in. You're going to bring this flap up, okay, and then this flap would go down. And you would do the same thing, but when you do it this way, Carrie has joined. Welcome.
Hello.
Stamps from Iran has joined. Welcome. Now, what I like to do in this particular case is to make a point. So I'm going to put this down so that you can see it. So you find the center point, and then you just curl these to a center point like that, and then you would match it on this side. Then I would secure that with double-sided tape. Does everyone see that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your pointed flap.
Interesting. I never realized how many folds went into the gift wrapping technique.
Well, the thing is that because this is not a true cube,
Mm-hmm.
right? A true cube would automatically get you these points.
Right.
Now, if you're at Macy's and you're on probation, right? Like you just started in your probationary period, what they would do is every package that you wrapped at Macy's, you would have to take it to a supervisor. They would ask you to bring all your scraps, and they would actually measure this to see if it was the same distance as that.
No. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
yeah.
And
And so
Janet's
this
saying
one isn't.
6-inch ribbon curls.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's about the same. So I would probably get positive marks for that.
Okay, well that's
Okay.
good.
Yep. So that is how you turn in the sides. Okay. So I'm going to do that real quickly and in real time so you can see it. One of the other things I did want to mention is that when you're buying paper, look for paper that has grid on the back. A lot of the proprietary papers don't, like Paper Source doesn't, a Rifle Company doesn't, but this is going to be your best friend because you can cut exactly where you want, and you can measure on the back side of the paper, so you don't have to measure with a tape or anything like that.
And if you're like
So,
me and you're cutting long pieces of paper, you end
yep,
up with like da 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 da.
right,
Like, and I just, unless I have grid to cut against, it will not be a straight cut. It's going to be
yeah,
pretty jagged
yeah.
looking.
So that's your best friend. This is actually paper that I designed about 5 years ago for Target. Okay, so let me just do this real quickly, and I'm going to do this against the table. So just let me know if I'm in frame, not in frame. So what we're going to do here is, because this is very similar to the box that I did yesterday. So I'm going to do this from, because it's a true rectangle. my in frame? I'm not, so
You
I'll do it.
kind mostly are. You brought
Okay,
80%
I'll
in
do it this
frame.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I will. Whoops. See, this is where.
And Nikki's saying like Nick is saying like, oh my god, that just makes me like the whole Macy's and then the measuring and like looking at how much scrap you have. She says that makes me anxious just thinking about it. Carrie says that is one lovely wrapped box. And Jim's asking, so did they give people good training at J.C. Penney's and Macy's for this
Oh,
purpose?
absolutely. Yeah, you went through a whole week of training,
A
and you
week
had
for
a
gift
week.
wrap?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because you have to learn how to wrap different sizes, odd shapes. You have to use like
Okay.
flat, like we had to learn how to do like a book that has very little depth to it.
Yep.
So you would use an envelope fold, you know, um, and so now this is the other trick: is don't secure the one side until you've actually folded the other side. So there's no tape here yet, because what you want to do is you want to be able to lie your package down so that you can work from it from above like this. And then so that you can make sure that you did both sides exactly the same. Okay. And then once again, because this is a rectangle, I would just fold this up like so. I would fold this back down
So it's basically
under.
folding it up so you can see it visibly, and then it's like a counter fold so you can
Exactly.
seal. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. I would have done a much better job, but, and then you would just tape. Okay. So that's it in real time. You can get it done that quickly. So that is, okay. So there we are. And then, so I have already done that, and I've already secured both sides. So this is the package that we did yesterday.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Looks good. Looking good.
Okay. And then we're going to do the ribbon again. So because you wanted, we'll do the sparkly ribbon,
Yay. Glitter ribbon.
glitter ribbon. So one of the things that I do, and this is something that you're interested in doing, what I do is I have practice stuff. So this is a pad of paper, and this is my practice ribbon on a spool, on one of my cardboard. And this is what I practice on. So I will wrap and I will tie ribbon around this over and over and over again to do a single bow, to a double bow, to do a shoestring tie. So that's, if you want to practice, just practice on the same thing each time until you get it. So that's what I do.
And it sounds like there's a whole bunch of different, you mentioned the single tie, the double tie, the shoestring tie. Approximately how many standard tie types are there for bows?
It depends.
Because imagine you could probably
There
get pretty fancy with some of them, right?
you can. I do just about 5 different ones, and they can be complex to just very simple. And it's depending upon how you wrap the package, actually, that will dictate which tie that you want to use, which ribbon tie you want to use. One of the other tricks of the tray that I want to share with you is that if you're buying ribbon off the spool, like you go to these trimming stores and you can buy ribbon by the yard, ask for a continuous roll. Right?
A continuous roll. Okay.
What happened is, so this is what happened with this particular. I bought 5 yards of this particular ribbon, and I stepped away to do something else. Came back to pick it up, and when I unraveled it to put it on my cardboard, it was in 2 pieces.
Oh.
So it's 5 yards, but it was 5 yards split up into 2 pieces. So depending upon what you're working on, that may be problematic.
That could be a deal breaker
So
if you have a big
yeah,
box and
right,
you're trying to get all the way
exactly,
around it. I
right.
see. So
So either buy
continuous.
a right. So buy a complete roll, a complete spool, or stand there and ask them to make sure that you get a continuous length of ribbon. So I'm just going to use this one, and once again, where you're going to do this is let me put away my tape.
And I like the
And
fact
I'm
that
actually
that
good.
ribbon is slightly see-through. It looks slightly sheer, or like
It
it's got
is.
netting. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it's yeah, it's like a netting.
That's a
Yeah.
neat
So you
pattern.
can actually see through it. It is. So what you're going to do is you're going to have about 6 inches from the top. You're going to measure one length. You're going to measure two lengths, and at the bottom of this link is you're going to put that in the center of your package. Okay, and then you're going to start wrapping. So you're going to wrap it around once. And because I'm right-handed, I go to the right. If you're left-handed, you may want to go to the left. It doesn't make any difference because I rotate to the right. Okay, so that's going to be this, right? And then you're going to take it and cross it over, right? And then you're going to
Hey Russ,
wrap it around.
Could you nudge that up a couple inches? There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
without tipping the water.
yeah, exactly. Let
I
me
just want
put
to
that
make
away
sure you're
just
in
a
frame
second.
there.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, so that's where we are. Then you're going to take the paddle and you're going to put it through. So now we have a secure ribbon. And you just want to double check to make sure that it's not, that we're not too thick here and we have a flat bottom.
Once again, cue the Queen song.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on your
Okay,
box and ride.
right.
Uh,
And then you're just going to do a loop. You're going to bring this around. And you're going to tie. And because this is right wire edged ribbon, you can fluff up your bow.
so that is a good trick. Wire edged ribbon. I hadn't thought about that.
Absolutely.
So that helps
Yeah,
the ribbon keep its shape. You can mold it. You can,
right.
right? It helps
Yep.
keep its form.
And then you would measure the tails, right? You want to zhuzh it a little bit. I hate that word, but it's the only word I can think of at the moment. So, ribbon tails. You have, first of all, you have to use sharp scissors. No option.
Well, especially if it's
No
wire
option.
lined. It's going to
Exactly.
be really
So
tough cutting through
you
otherwise.
have, right. So you have, I'm going to cut this down at the bottom because it's not the type that I'm going to use. You have just an angled cut like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can do a straight cut like that. What most people do is what they call the swallow's tail. So you're going to take the two edges. Oops, let me get in frame here.
Yep. Yep.
You're going
Yep.
to take the two edges. You're going to bring them together, right?
Yeah.
That. And then you're going to measure against the box because if you're at paper source, you can't have ribbon past the box. And then you're going to cut from the double edge upwards. Okay?
So that's going to give you that double point.
It's going to give you this, what we call the swallow's
The
tail.
swallow's tail.
Yeah.
Very classic. Very classic. And we're getting giggles here from Frank and Ashley on the Get on Your Box and Ride.
Okay.
Someone's got to remake that song.
And there we have my gift that I'm going to give tomorrow.
Pretty flashy. It looks really sharp. That's fantastic.
Okay, cool. And there we go.
Awesome. Awesome.
And that's it, unless we have other questions or things. And this is why I hate glitter. Look at my station. I've got glitter
Oh,
everywhere.
well, we can't see that on camera, so therefore it doesn't exist.
How about now?
Oh,
Can
I
you
see the
now?
granules. Yes. I mean, that's like the time I bought a couple of, and Frank says that is a gorgeous box, and Anna says beautiful. I agree. That's a really, really cool wrapping job. Looks very professional. I bought tulle once that had glitter like encrusted inside of it, and it just, my entire floor was
Yeah.
covered, and it took me, no joke, days to get it out of my
Oh,
hardwood floors, out of the rug.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the other tips is to work on either craft paper or any paper that you can throw away, because you never know what the surface is that you're working on, and that you don't want whatever may be on the surface, like a table surface, to get onto the wrapping paper that you're using. So that's why you always work on craft paper, or this is newsprint that you can get, just So you're working on guaranteed to work on a clean surface. So that's the other trick. And then if you have glitter, you can just wrap it up and then throw it away.
So it makes for a very easy, quick disposal and
Right.
no fuss, no muss, really. You have a question from Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley says, Russ, please say again which direction to cut the ribbon for the swallowtail.
Yep.
Is it from the end
Okay.
in or from in toward the end?
Yep. So you're going to take your two edges and you're going to bring them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to cut from the bottom up. Okay. So you're going to cut at this angle. And that will give you
You're going to start cutting where the two edges meet together on that side.
Right, where you just fold it together, and then you're just going to cut up at an angle at the edge of the box.
Okay.
Okay?
And Jennifer says that is the shedding glitter ribbon. She says, I can feel that glitter from here.
Yep. So it's fun around here during Christmas.
Your home must be filled with glitter during Christmas. Am I right?
Well, I do a lot of on-site wrapping just for that particular purpose, so I don't have to carry everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I do carry is things to add, and so that's what the last thing I'm going to show you is, once again, the whole idea, the whole concept of Japanese gift giving is that you add something that the person can use. So what I would do is I have this ribbon with this particular bead.
Ooh.
And so what I would do is I would just take and actually this is actually upside down. So I'm going to put this way and this way. Okay. And then what I would do is I would take this ribbon, put it through the loop like so, and then tie it like that so that they have a little extra ornament that they can then use. She is a bead maker, and she makes necklaces and earrings out of beads, and so that she can then use that. And then I would just cut off the excess ribbon.
Excellent. Excellent. And I love that idea of just having that little extra trinket or bauble or something attached to the gift for future use for the person.
And so what I tend for the holidays, I tend to do a lot of ornaments, either handmade ornaments or novelty ornaments.
Yeah.
Or like a little jingle bell, so when the gift is moved or whatever, it jingles a little bit, and so that's what I do. And so the only thing when I travel, I'll travel with my scissors, my tape, and then I will have all of the papers and things delivered to the address that I'm going to wrap, and then just wrap it on site because it's a lot easier than have to schlep around multiple rolls of paper.
I agree. That's a lot of schlepping and that's a lot of supplies just to wrap gifts. So,
well, and that's the other thing too, is that by that point, the time I come to your house to wrap your gifts for you, we have already done a paper choice. We've done a color choice of ribbon. We've made all the choices ahead of the time.
Yep.
So that all I have to do is show up and the materials have already been delivered.
And by the way, Anna just came up with a cool idea. I think you've inspired her. She said that would be an awesome idea, a good series for future ornaments. So
yeah, and I even have a special glitter ornament series that I could do.
Really?
You can take there's a special glue that you can. It's a liquid glue made just for glitter. And then what you do is you coat the inside of the ornament, either a glass ornament or a plastic ornament, with this glue. You just swirl it around and let it all drip out. And then you take glitter, put glitter on the inside, and then you shake it up, and it'll coat the interior of the ornament with glitter.
So you just end up with this big sparkly globe, right?
Exactly. And so we do that either to coordinate the Christmas tree with the gifts, or we'll add that to an ornament on the gift itself, And so, yeah, they're very, very popular over the holidays. And then yeah, Ashley says, I had you at glitter. And then what you can do is to give it more depth, you can actually take acrylic paint once the glitter has dried 24 hours. You can take acrylic paint and do the same thing on the interior
Okay.
to where the background is black or a solid color so that it gives it depth to the actual glitter. So we can do that as well in the future if you want. Also, I can also show you how to wrap other things like the envelope wrap. So any of those things.
So Jennifer is asking, you wrap at the client's home. She says that's great. Do you have them choose from a selection of wrapping papers, or how do you usually do that?
Yeah. So what I do is I have repeat clients I've had for years. Uh, they even fly me in sometimes to do their decorations and to decorate their tree for them. So what we will
Wow.
do is decide on we'll decide on a color theme, and then once we have the color theme of that particular year between the tree and their gifts, then I will give them a choice of papers and ribbon selections. And then once that has been decided, all the materials will be purchased and sent to their home, and then I will actually decorate them in their home.
Pretty swanky.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Wow.
had a business. It was my friend's business. He and I in Florida would decorate people's homes for the holidays, and so he would decorate the exteriors, and I would decorate the interiors. So I would do the tree and the gifts, and then odd rooms, like the kitchen or the bathroom and stuff like that. And then the beauty of it was that then they would hire us back at the end of the season to package it all up and to store it for them in their home. So they'd have to worry about taking it down. They didn't have to worry about and how to store it,
Because
guarantee
that
that the
is,
lights would work
oh
the next
gosh,
year.
I'm getting anxiety
Yeah.
just thinking about that, because that is a process in and of itself. It's like finding all of the ornaments, finding everything, putting it up.
Yeah.
And then like I usually I wait until no joke February before I take my tree down, because I'm like, I do not want to take it down. It's such a process and storing, and I guess it never occurred to me that you could actually hire someone to do that for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And that's what we did. And it was, it was very successful, and so I decided to move here at the time, and so that's he hasn't found anyone else to do it, so he still does the exteriors. But yeah, and it's and I hate to say this, people who have money aren't afraid to spend it on doing the things that they don't want to do.
True,
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is why
So
I
yeah,
do it
and so
myself.
yeah, which was yeah. I mean, just but the nice thing is that because we have the special storage boxes to put the ornaments in, we have the
Yeah.
special PVC pipe that he could roll all the lights on, so that
So you have
that
you
they
have like a
right.
system. You have a
Yeah,
process down
exactly.
pat for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So,
What
but
is the
yeah,
most
so
I got to ask you, Russ, what is the most outlandish interior decorating request you have ever gotten for a holiday decorating client? If
um,
one comes to mind.
we had to do a house in chartreuse and pink. That was the colors that she wanted,
Wow.
and it was hard to find a chartreuse um, uh, wrapping paper
I'm trying to
or
think,
anything
like, do those
holiday.
even go together?
It's I picked a shade of green. It was almost like a lime green rather than the chartreuse.
Yeah.
So and I picked a color of pink that was a hotter pink than a pastel pink,
So I'm
and so
feeling
that
like a
did
Lily
go.
Pulitzer vibe there. I definitely
Yeah,
am. Okay.
and it worked well. But what we ended up doing, and it worked out even better, was I used craft paper. So I used brown and white craft paper to wrap all the gifts, and then we had these beautiful ribbons in those colors to tie the gifts with. So that's what we did, and it was actually turned out probably one of the better decoration gigs that I ever did. But then I had to
Well,
wrap 600 gifts for a bank, just
whoa.
plain empty boxes with nothing in them.
And were those all
Um,
in the same branch, or was it like distributed across multiple branches?
it's one. No, it was the flagship branch in downtown Houston.
Wow.
Yeah.
600 empty
Yeah.
boxes.
600.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, see, when I see those displays, like it never occurs to me. Like I look at them, I'm like, oh, nice, that's festive. But it never occurs to me that someone goes through the painstaking detail of having to wrap each and every one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow.
But I guarantee you that the people that do that are getting paid well to do it. Because just the logistics of finding 600 boxes and ordering 600 boxes and having them delivered, and with the bank, you can't do it there because there's really no physical space to do it. Or if you do it, you have to do it overnight, which is
Yeah.
what I did a lot of times. So, but yeah. And then you have to do it
Interesting.
in phases so that, it looks pretty while it's in the process of being done. So yeah.
Well,
I,
Janet says, we are in the presence of Christmas greatness. Giddy says that's super cool. And Anna says they hired too to do that as well because, quite frankly, that process is indeed exhausting. I agree.
Yeah, it just, and that's for me, if I could, there are two things that I could do all day, 24/7, and never get tired of it. One is making boxes, which I've done for you already, like making boxes like this. And the other is wrapping gifts. I don't get tired of it,
You know
and
what
I
my winter
enjoy
thing
it.
is? Shoveling snow. And I know that sounds crazy, but like if I had to start a business, I would just hand shovel people's driveways all day long. I don't know why. I absolutely love it. So when the snow falls up here, my family's like, "Ah, man, we got to go shovel." And I'm like, "Yay!" And I have
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do
to
it.
this day, I have never gotten tired of it. It doesn't even matter if we get like 3 feet of snow. I'm just like, I got this. I don't know why. So wrapping gifts for you and shoveling snow for me, that's like my winter choice.
Well, the particular branch of paper source that I was working at has a high corporate volume, and so I would spend an 8-hour shift just wrapping gifts and not even get to the sales floor.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
And Phil's saying, I'm channeling like Simpsons Mr. Plow episode. And actually, that's one of my favorite Simpsons episodes, by the way, of all time. And Anna says her mom goes shopping with the decorators to make sure that the theme
and
is what she envisioned.
which is why I get all that approved beforehand because there's nothing worse than showing up and the client not liking.
And they're like, oh, just
Uh,
kidding. I completely changed my mind.
yeah.
Which I'm sure never happens, right,
Well,
Russ?
no. What happens with me is that they sign a contract. So once
Ah,
everything has been agreed upon, they sign a contract and they give me 50% deposit.
no givesies backsies at
Um,
that point. Like you're
well, just because all materials have to be ordered,
right.
and I'm not going to spend my money. And so yeah, and if they change their mind, it's all on them. And if they change their mind, then I'm not going to work for them. So yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah,
And Janet
yeah.
says it's
So
nice to see the progress that you've made. I agree.
well, thanks. So what are you working on now that
I
we
was
have about
stealthily
20
just,
minutes left?
oh gosh, I was stealthily gluing lunettes onto the back of my lunette postcard. So I was just finishing this guy up and I was going to put some
Cool.
gold glitter. This is the Folk Art Glitterific paint. I was just going to paint some of the lunettes gold because I've already Mod Podged this last night. So yeah, it feels like that's a change order. Oh, that is.
Yeah.
And you'll pay handsomely for that, I imagine.
Well, just it's just not that. It's just that because the materials have already been ordered and I can't return them.
Right, because it's like once
Um,
that stuff is staged there, what are you going to do with it? If they're like, oh,
right,
I don't want chartreuse, I actually wanted navy blue. You know,
right. So yeah, but yeah.
wow.
And then I also and you know who's the worst about stuff like this
Who?
are my friends
Your friends?
because they know that I do. Yeah, because they know that I do this, and so they'll call me up at like 10 o'clock the night before they need a gift wrapped.
Oh my
I said,
God.
"Can you do this?" And because they know I do it professionally, and they know that they can't do it as well as I do, so they think. Um, and so yeah, so I get calls all the time of, "Can you wrap my dad's present?" And I'm like, You have to
Ah,
use what I have. No choices. I don't care. You'll make it nice. But yeah, yeah. It's always the
uh,
guys. It's
that's
always the
always, but
guys.
you know, that's kind of like, I guess that's one of those skills that you want to kind of keep on the down low so that people don't know about it. So you don't get those people asking you at the last minute, like, oh, hey, my aunt's 90th birthday is coming up. Any chance you can wrap, oh, I don't know, 15 of these oddly shaped items for her? Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer says that I'm going to show you how to wrap a giant sled with no box. So
Okay.
for
It's going to be part four.
those kind of things, you know what I do?
What do you do?
I just make the hugest ribbon bow that I can and get the biggest amount of ribbon that I can and just put a big old ribbon on it. Because there's no disguising what it is,
Well, that's like with a if you're giving someone a car or something, like just
right?
blah, put the ribbon on there, and they know it's a gift, they know what it is. And
Right.
Jim says he sucks at wrapping.
Well, that's what, I used to, I get a lot of people who want me to do something special for like, anniversary wine or, champagne and stuff like that. And I tell them, I mean, there's one of two ways that we can do it. They know what it is just by the bottle shape. So
Unless you
do you
put it in a
want,
massive box and it's concealed and
right?
you
Unless
change the
unless
shape.
it comes with its own box, which many of the vintages do,
Some do.
yeah. You can wrap that, but they're still going to know that size. You look at a wine box, and you're pretty much going to know it's wine. So the idea is that we could do it one of two ways. I can make a little sleeve for it, and then just wrap it at the top so they can't see the vintage, or I can do a belly band with a nice ribbon around the center so it covers up the vintage, so they don't know what they're getting. So they know they're getting a bottle of wine, but they don't know which one. So, and I can also do a handmade, wine bag, a homemade wine bag, which is real easy to do. Um, so yeah, so I'm just like, you're not fooling anyone. They know they're getting, they know they're getting wine or champagne or something. So what part of it do you want to hide? You just want to hide the name, or do you want to hide the shape?
Right. My other favorite
Best
prank
line in a
around. Oh, go ahead. Best line in a movie.
Phil says the best line in a movie after this is going to be the beginning of a. I'm confused, but
Frank
that's my
said
status quo.
Rosebud,
Oh,
which, oh, what
is
is
that
that
a
a
movie
reference to?
reference?
Is that The Stand? No. The Shining? No.
That was Red Rum, wasn't it?
What is Rosebud a reference to? I'm
That
not a
wasn't.
movie
Isn't.
buff.
I think that's Orson Welles. Isn't that Citizen Kane?
I've never seen that
I
movie.
don't.
It's probably one of those classics that I should see, but I've never actually seen that movie. So everybody knows the Rosebud reference
Yeah, Citizen
beginning
Kane.
of a
Yeah.
beautiful
Okay.
friendship. Okay, Citizen Kane. I need to add that to my watch list. I've never seen it.
Yeah. I don't
Horrifying, I
know.
know. There's a lot of movies I haven't
I
seen.
don't know what Citizen. I don't know what that is in reference to. So maybe I don't know. But anyway, okay, cool. So um,
Don't mind
so
me.
I
I'm just
still have
putting
yet
glitter
to.
on things over here.
Yeah. Oh, it's a sled. Rosebud is a sled. Okay, so that's why it makes
Oh,
sense.
okay. The reference
Okay.
was lost on me.
Yeah, and beautiful friendship is Casablanca. Okay, so there we go. The problem with all these comments is that unless you follow the entire thread, you have no idea what some of these are talking about. And so if I look away for a moment and miss like you know the first two references to the thread, I'm like, what are they talking about?
Or it might take a minute or two for the person to type out the comment. So I'm like, oh, wait. And then I'll have to scroll back up and go, oh, that's what they were
Yeah, what was
referring
that in
to.
reference to? Yeah.
And yes, Anna, this is
So
actually this is the folk art glitterific paint. And this one is called, I don't know. Writing is too tiny, but it's gold. Look, see? It's these ones. You can get these at Joann Fabrics. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, probably Michaels. They run around $5 per bottle for this stuff, and this is the gold one. So pretty. And this is a clear acrylic with glitter flakes in it. So when it goes on, the glitter, I don't know if you guys, how well you can see this, but the glitter is all different sizes, little teeny tiny microscopic ones and some slightly larger foil-y pieces as well. So yes. And Ashley's got a hack for us for gift wrapping. She says, get one of those folding cardboard fabric cutting boards, lay it on your bed when you're wrapping gifts. It's a flat surface and it has measurements automatically listed on there. That is clever. I like it.
That is. So I still have yet to make my postcard for the repeating pattern. So that's what I need to work on before Friday. So that means I have the rest of tonight and all day tomorrow to finish.
Do lunettes
And what
count
I'm
as a
thinking of
pattern?
doing, absolutely,
All right, good.
you've done because it's all crescents. They're repeating
That's
pattern,
true.
right?
That's true. Yep, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So what I need to do is decide how I want to place these on here. So I was thinking about doing like 6 of them and then do like real thin washi tape in between them. So the repeating pattern would be these little stamp shapes.
Ooh, or
Or I'm
do
listening.
really really skinny painter's tape and make like your window frames, and then jelly roll it, and then rip the painter's tape off, and then put your stamps on. But I'm just
Or
overcomplicating things.
or I
Or
kind of like that. I know I like where you're going,
because I'm
but I don't
copying
want to get my
somebody that I
jelly
saw
plate
on
out.
Instagram. I saw it
So
the
I
other
don't
day.
want to get that out. But what I could do is get my alcohol inks and do the exact same thing.
Yes,
And so it's like a like pointillism. So it looks like they're little dots.
yes. Do you have
Has
any
everyone seen?
tips around alcohol ink, by the way? That's that distressed ink stuff, right?
It can be distress ink. It doesn't have to be. Um, as a matter of fact, I do. I'm going to go to the tunnel, Phil. Take over.
So yeah, I keep seeing this stuff. I see like the little containers of distress ink, and I've never bought it before, and it is one of those things that I'm considering. But I think I have to get my jelly rolling down pat first before I embark on yet another craft venture. But I agree, Jennifer, it is cute as is. I was just copying something that I saw from Instagram the other day. Frank said that my design, coupled with Christmas talk, made him want pfeffernuss cookies. Pfeffer, I cannot pronounce that word. Does anyone know what that word is? A foreign Christmas cookie, I presume? Something from another country? Pfeffer noise? Hey, Russ.
Yeah.
Frank likes this cookie, and I cannot pronounce it. Do you recognize that?
Pfeffernusse,
What is that, and where is it from? Germany?
Germany. Or I want to say Germany. I think it is Germany. Maybe Giddy could let us know.
Oh,
Um,
yes. If she's still on, yes. German Christmas cookies.
Germ- yeah, German Christmas cookies.
Show us the jar of pate again. You used
Or
your
pate.
sunflower card.
I
I
think she
assume
means
that's
paste.
paste,
I think
not
it's paste.
pate.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a
I'd
second.
like the pate, please. I'm just teasing. And I'm going to check the time here. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes. So Giddy doesn't know those cookies, Frank. So is it possible that those crescent-shaped Christmas cookies are an American phenomenon, but they just happen to have a German-sounding name?
So,
Maybe.
this is the light molding paste by Golden. I will go online to see if it's available at Amazon. If it is, I'll put the link on tomorrow morning.
You have to go to his
If
affiliates.
Not necessarily, you can get this anywhere, but if they do have it, they'll have this at any art store. So, but if to prevent you from having to search a whole bunch, but I will see what I can do, and I'll let you know if I can't find it. But that's what it is: Golden Gel Medium Light Molding Paste. I know.
Frank says they don't eat foods from the north. Oh God.
So these are my homemade alcohol inks. So you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on alcohol inks. Because if you buy the name brands, they're very, very expensive. And of course, you can't have just one color. You have to get 20 or 30 or 50 or however many.
So you
So
made
I bought
those.
I did. And so these are just little spray bottles that you can get online, right? Little
Cool.
perfume spray bottles. I use 99% isopropyl alcohol.
So you can't just be pouring Tito's vodka or something in there. Like it has to be rubbing alcohol. Oh, he disappeared. Oh, there he is. 99%.
And you can get that. You can get that anywhere. So I buy it by the 5 gallon.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You're definitely on a list somewhere, by the way.
yeah.
Like, what are you
So
doing with all that rubbing alcohol?
yeah.
Well,
So then
I'm an
so
artist.
you fill it up about and you fill it about your little bottle about 80 to 90%. You'll work out the mixture that works for you, and then you get alcohol re-inkers. Okay, I have the Stamping
Oh,
Up brand,
yes.
and then you just let me see if I can find them real quickly. I
Okay,
think I have the
because
pads.
Sukaneko has one too, where it's like if your ink pad runs out of ink, no problem,
Right,
just re-ink it. So
right, exactly.
interesting.
Um,
And
well, just by
economical. I like. Super
yes,
economical.
yeah, and so I can't find them right off the top of the bat. Yeah, and then you'll find out what mixture works for you. I usually use anywhere between 10 to 20 drops of the reinker to
Okay.
about 80 to 90% alcohol of the bottle. But you'll find out what mixture works best for you, and then depending upon some of these little sprayers will get clogged. You just want to be careful with that. But other than that, and then you just
Whoa.
right.
And it's funny, unless I looked really closely, I could not really tell from my tiny phone here that you had a textured piece of paper there or a little stencil.
Oh, this is a newsprint. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that's the effect. And then of course you would wipe these down. You don't have to if you don't want to. But so that is the effect. You get that pointillistic effect, and then that's what goes through the stencil. And then if depending upon your ink, sometimes it'll spread out like that a little bit, but I don't mind that. Some people do, and so that's how I make my own alcohol inks.
Super cool. And Nick says, so cool. I agree. I like that.
And then you can make them. You can make them so economically, and then you can just refill them as you need. Like I don't use this brown one very much, obviously, and you also want to make sure that you label them. So if you need to put more pigment in it, you know which one that you used. But other than that, yeah.
Now, how do they do in terms of like layering? Like, so when I think about layering and I think about like just jelly
Okay.
printing, the acrylic paint just
Yeah.
it layers very well. But does that layer?
Well, let me just show you. Let me find a contrasting color.
Yeah, sorry to take us down this rabbit hole, but I am fascinated by this because this is one of those things I've been wanting to try for a long time.
Let me see if I can get this one to work. There we go. And then you just vary the concentration. The more you spray, the darker it's going to get.
Sure.
And so, and then you want to allow it to air dry. That's all it really needs is to air dry. Jim says we have 5 minutes
5 minute
left.
warning. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is the effect that you get.
And what's the approximate drying time on each layer, would you
Oh,
say?
it's seconds. Yeah, a minute at most. Because
That's some
what
speedy
happens
crafting. I
is,
like that.
what happens is that the alcohol evaporates into the air and leaves the pigment behind. That's the beauty of alcohol inks.
Ah.
So if you don't mind the smell, and I don't, um, so that's the layering that you get, and then you can do, I'm going to try to see if I can get this yellow on here, and you always want to have a spray layer so that you're not spraying everything around you. And then what happens is, the pigments settle at the bottom.
So you may have to shake
So
them to
you shake them
reconstitute
up
them.
before you use them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited. I love that idea. And I feel like those little spray bottles, they're probably pretty cheap to procure a whole bunch of them anyway.
They're very cheap.
Wow.
See, and so this is the yellow. So you can get a variety of different effects. So now that blue background has turned into a blue green, like a teal almost. And then you get
So
some
pretty.
highlights of the yellow. Yeah, so you can layer it like you would any other color. Um,
And Anna wants to know, does it
it,
have an archival property?
I haven't had any problems with it. I've never had it long enough to but once it dries, I haven't had any problems. So I don't think that um, I don't know if it's archivally safe, to be quite honest with you. But these are the kinds of projects that I will use that I don't plan to keep, for a long period of time. So I'm really not as worried about being archival. Um, so Nancy, she wants to come play in my art room.
Don't we
Um,
all?
so yeah.
Yep.
So did that answer your question? I know it was a quick kind of how
No,
to,
that's
but
awesome. Dude, that's awesome. So the official name
okay,
of that is
okay,
alcohol ink?
yes. Well, no, that's what the process is once it's together. But you're going to get ink pad reinkers is what you're going to use get the pigment from, and that could be any brand. It doesn't have to, any brand that you want to. I get pigment ink, so that's what I use.
Cool. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that. I love that the fact that you can just do it yourself. It's super cool.
yeah, and the bottles are cheap, very very inexpensive.
Man, I feel like we
So
covered a lot
someone
of
was asking
ground
about
here tonight.
something. We did, didn't we?
We did.
Let's see. So Ashley, the label maker, I think I put that on the website already. Um, yeah, I okay, great. So and here's the thing. Frank, the blog is ny star star cards cards dot blogspot.com. Um, um, and that and folks, what all this is about is I am providing those links as a reference. Don't ever feel pressured that you have to buy them through Amazon, especially if you can buy them less inexpensively elsewhere. Because I think it takes like, you know, something like 50 clicks for me to get 10 cents. So it's not that I'm mainly doing it so that you can have access to what they actually are, so that you don't have to troll through all of this information to find what it is that you want. So it's mainly used for a reference so that you know the name of it and the company, that kind of thing. So if you do want to get through Amazon, you may certainly do. If you can find it less expensively elsewhere, definitely do that as well. Um, but so yeah, so don't feel pressured. I don't want you to think that I'm making a lot of money off of you, because it really isn't about that, and I'm really not. And plus, what it does help me do is help me get my name and ATD, because I always put them conjointly out there to crafters who may want to join us.
Sure,
Because
sure. Yeah.
that's what this is about. It's about us building a community together, and so we're gonna have to say goodbye quick. So
Well,
thank you
thank
for
you
coming.
guys. Thanks for coming in. And we'll see you again tomorrow night. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. So have a lovely evening, guys. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Signing off. Bye.